It's the ultimate concoction of all of our mustard boomer humor. Chuck in a couple forced references and we're golden. It cannot possibly fail. And somehow they were right. This film absolutely exploded. But to its credit, I can see a surprisingly good amount of positives about this film. Sure, it's still shallow and trashy, but what I really wasn't expecting was all of this visual acuity. This movie is visually quite stunning, and clearly comes back to that idea of gripping the attention of kids because every single scene seems to have some sort of fantastical element attached to it. And even beyond that, it ties in with some of the ideals of the film. Our technical protagonist, Tim, is broadcasted as having a wild imagination, and the story is being told thoroughly through his perspective. So there's all sorts of animation fan service that I must admit, I really enjoyed and certainly wasn't expecting. Oftentimes it even went beyond just looking cool by actually whipping out some symbolism and how Tim was internally feeling. That's some pretty stellar storytelling, and something I'd love to see more in animated movies. Get that Edgar Wright translated over here. But at the same time, while these visuals do look nice, the actual consistency of the art style is completely tarnished, rendering much of the internal logic void. Sometimes it's presented as happening like normal, like when the parents are singing to Tim before the boss baby makes an appearance, and other times it's a 2D marker pen style to show the sneaking process of Tim trying to confront his new baby brother a tad later on. There's no real rhyme or reason for what style influences what, only that it's just a mishmash of whatever Tim, or I guess the directors, feel like spreading out at the time. And adding further to that, sometimes the jokes splashed in at this time shred completely opposite to the logic of the film in a way that is just irreparable from an intellectual point of view. The biggest offender here is the scene where Tim is fighting the boss baby in the garden, where it's all built up as this major action scene with events that are way over the top for what you'd expect from a baby. That's the shallow joke of the film. But then mid-scene, the film then cuts to the parents watching them fight in reality as a playtime event instead, as if the entire confrontation is imaginary. This doesn't make any sense, because everything else in this film follows the events as if they are real. We never see this perspective again, and only confuses the film's logic further. As far as the film's concerned, this is just a cheap trope of a joke that isn't actually true to the film. It doesn't make sense in any other context.